Buongiorno. Mark my words, Mel. They'll leave by Christmas.
Even now, less than a score of years after the World War,
hostilities exist. There is no blinking at the fact.
we shall never surrender!
This is the Militaria Podcast, brought to you by your friends at Queen City Militaria, Wehrmacht Militaria, and SMG War Relics.
Which to me is indicative of the typical Rhodesia collector.
Well, we're going back to that furry theme where we talk about furries at the Max show.
Furries are a creeping influence in the hobby. It's been coming up more and more, and I don't think people are talking about it enough.
Yeah, I do remember talking about
There's
that.
there's some type of a crossover there.
I think it's just the need to be in costume, and then they're like, what if I was a wolf? And then they're like, what if I was a wolf who was also a Nazi? Welcome to the Militaria Podcast. My name is Joshua Doda. I run Queen City Militaria, and I'm joined by these two learned doctors of the craft, these esteemed gentlemen, my friends, Dante Gambino of SMG War Relics.
Hello, everybody.
And William the Bill Kramer of WehrmachtMilitaria.com.
Hello, everybody. It's been a minute, but here we are.
It has been a minute. It's been about a month. We're still, you know what? When we first started this, we were like, let's do it every other week or some shit. Impossible. Not going to work. So I'm glad we're at least sticking to the month. How have you guys been since we last talked?
Oh, man. God, it's fucking busy. I've been busy like crazy getting this fucking St. Louis, Missouri collection together, and just been keeping me really busy trying to get through that. And today was just a day that started off on the wrong foot for me. I was still sleeping, and fucking PayPal calls me. And I don't know if you guys have this problem, but PayPal is up my ass to open up their commercial lines of credit all the time, and they bug me like every couple of months. And finally I snapped, and I'm usually pretty cordial, and I'm just like, no, thank you. I'll let you know. I was like, dude, please stop calling me. This is stupid. Yeah. I understand how your lines of credit work. I don't need a phone call every 3 months asking me if I want to take out a loan. Thank you. Goodbye. So that started off on the wrong foot. And then me and the wife did it's a decision that every man that has a spouse has to do at some point in their life.
Oh my God.
Let's go to the fucking phone store together.
That's what we're worried about here? You got me kind of nervous. Go to the phone store. Could be fun.
Oh my God. No, it's not fun, because what happens is, I don't know if you're aware of this, but most of these phone places, like let's say if you go to a Verizon store, there's like a 95% chance that that's some weird franchise, and they have their own like deals and rules, right? So should you have a problem where your bill all of a sudden doubles, like, and you don't know why, you can't call Verizon to help you. You have to go back to that franchise. And they're like, oh, no, that guy doesn't work. That guy doesn't work here anymore. And the main Verizon place is just going to be like, yeah, we don't know what they did. And that's a franchise. They're on their own. They do their own thing and their own promotion. So good luck. So we decided to go to an actual Verizon store, which was an hour away, like one owned by Verizon, and get the scoop and fix our bill. And we were able to knock like $100 off the bill. Tina got a new phone. We adjusted some stuff, but it's just like, I'm telling you, man, it's fucking agony.
You know, when I last got a phone, which had to have been, I don't know, early last year, the guy was like, I'll text you and I'm going to just check in and make sure you're doing okay. And I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. I think it was going to just be a survey. That fucking guy, he sends me a text like every 3 months, just being like, hey, are you okay? Yeah. It's literally like, I'm like, wait, I have never had a problem. I've never needed any support from Verizon. Not like I'm, grateful for the support of my friends like you guys, but I just don't think it's necessary for the Verizon guy to be maintaining that sort of relationship with me. That's my main gripe.
But I bet you his sales are excellent, and he has, because he's a commission based dude, right? So I'm sure he kills it.
He did put on a show. He wore a bow tie. Bill,
whoa,
how have you been?
Good, buddy. I'm fine. It's nice to hear Dante's taking time away from his family to come to the podcast, and little do you know, he's enjoying his time with the boys. I'm good, man. I'm officially in the new house, and that's pretty exciting. I've moved in. Hopefully, I don't sound like I'm in a fish tank anymore. I have this weird problem though. Like I always like open my cupboard and it's like, which mug is mine? So I finally made a mug that says Bill's mug. And I was like, oh, it's that one. I do those 1 a day vitamins, but I always get confused on the dosage. It's like, how many do I take a day? Like what? So yeah, I'm in the new house, man, and everything's going good. Lots of shit to put away and organize. Like I didn't realize, like my buddy, helped me move, and he's like, you have a lot of stuff, and I was like, I do have a lot of stuff. That's my life. So
I could see you as a guy that has a lot of stuff. Did I hear that
have an
you...
estate? Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah. Did I hear that you got a fun wheel today?
Yeah, I did. So I had this awesome deal for some WW2 Militaria down in Kansas, and I was able, Rust Junkie was Dean's antique business, and I've gotten a lot of cool stuff over the years from Dean. I always like shit for my walls. So he had this giant wagon wheel. I'll probably send you a photo and put it like right about here. And anyway, so yeah, I took that, and then he's got this he had this front grill from like a '65 Ford school bus, and the lights still worked, and it was wired for it. So I'm like, dude, how much is that? And he's like, just take it, man. He sold all of his property, and he's cashing in on the. His grandfather won that 46 acres he just sold in a card game way back in the day.
Wow.
And yeah, it turned out to be a pretty successful card game. So you'd love to go back and tell Grandpa, hey, guess what? This is going to be worth someday. But so yeah, I got a cool wheel and I put it on my garage wall, and it looks badass, dude. And I've just done really cool things with this house, and it's like every room here is a man cave. Is kind of what I.
Well, we're gonna have to do the Militaria cribs at some point. So once you get everything all set up, you know what I'm saying?
Well, Josh, tell me about almost married life. What's going on with you?
Oh, dude, we had to find a DJ. Carmen, she went dress shopping, so that's done. We had to find a DJ. Had to find a DJ that didn't look like he was going to be like, "What's up, party people?" Because that's like not the kind of vibe that I personally am looking to have at the wedding. Bill's going to be there. That's enough of the like, "What's up, party people?" vibe for me. So I found this guy that looks like he's kind of a dweeb, but he seems like he's a good choice. But, we got the save the dates mailed out. We're just working on getting everything settled. So right now, Carmen's going over all of the florist stuff with her sister.
When is the date? September 13th?
It is September 13th. Yes, sir.
Oh, good. Well, I'll save it then.
Yeah, please do.
Date.
Please drop an RSVP on the QR code you got there.
Oh, I didn't even know that's what I was supposed to do, huh? Yeah, I gotta. Being an adult is tough, but I'll do that. I'm probably gonna make it, Josh. Okay, let's put it that way.
It's weird, man. It's the future. Like I got to send my grandparents a save the date that has a QR code on it, and like they're in their late 80s, and I'm just like, yeah, they don't have to worry about it. I'm just gonna assume they'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the safe play. They're going to be there anyway, because they probably are just like, oh, this comes on all the cards now. Great. They don't know what the fuck a QR code is.
Yeah, it's got a crap load of squares on it. Anyway, see you at the wedding.
It's just like those new menus they got out now, Pops.
We're enjoying the fact that like winter seems to be pretty much over. Cupcake is enjoying the fact that there's not 6 feet of snow in the backyard, so she's just like smelling everything. She's found a ton of cat shit that's just been hidden away.
Delicious
munch
cat
on
shit.
that.
Yeah,
I know. Well, and that's the problem because I see it and I'm like, that's mine. I own the property.
It's your own cat poop.
Well, you have a cat as well?
No, we don't. Well, so when we moved into the neighborhood, we saw a cat and we were like, oh, look, somebody has an outdoor cat. And this is actually more like there are 7 to 10 outdoor cats in the neighborhood that just fucking run shit. Like the other day, Carmen saw a possum walk through the yard, and then she was like, for the next 15 to 20 minutes, it was just like a chorus of cats screaming in the night. They run the block, and my dog just goes out there and
beasts.
Well,
I don't know what to tell you.
They're smart animals, as they say, so must taste great. Who the fuck knows?
We got to get off the topic of eating poop. We really have to get off the topic of eating poop. It's a fact of life. Sometimes you're just going to have to deal with it, but I don't want to talk about it right now. Today, what I would like to talk about is I think, people have been like, you guys got to do an episode on the Iron Cross. And I'm sure someday we will. But today we're going to do another topic that's like kind of, I would say, a little off the beaten path. And that is German veterans organizations, like during the Weimar era, a little bit just to set the stage. And then we're going to talk about during the Third Reich, the NS-RKB, and It should be pretty informative, I think. We're going to look at a bunch of examples. We're not going to, by any means, have like a comprehensive, here's every badge, here's every award they ever put out. But in terms of like common stuff that you might run into, we'll cover that. And we'll cover like design changes and things like that. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. I know you love talking about the German equivalent of the VFW.
Is it? I mean, would you put it that way?
I kind of would. And we'll get into it. So, in the wake of the First World War, many different organizations for veterans were established. And while all the veterans organizations tended to agree that the state was not doing enough to support veterans of the First World War, they differed in their ideological pursuits and their political involvement. Veterans organizations were often very engaged in trying to control the narrative surrounding World War I, as well as advocating for or against political changes in a post-World War I Germany. To paint a picture of how varied the goals of these groups were, we're going to discuss the 4 most notable organizations of the Weimar era. Starting out, we got the Kyffhäuserbund, originally named the Kyffhauser League of the German Country's Warriors Associations. It was founded in 1900 and it originated from the Deutscher Kriegerbund. It functioned as an umbrella organization which united veterans organizations of pre-World War I Germany with a membership of roughly 2 million in 1913. Prior to the fall of the German Empire, the Kyffhäuserbund served a useful dual purpose in that, in addition to its duties in caring for the Kyffhauser Memorial and advocating for veteran welfare, it advocated against the growing social democratic movement in Germany. Following the end of World War I, the Kyffhäuserbund remained true to its conservative roots while also remaining largely apolitical in its actions. Kyffhäuserbund activities were more centered around sociable things like fundraising and supporting the welfare of veterans, holding memorial services, and cultivating a sense of national pride. In 1921, the Kyffhäuserbund centralized its leadership, cementing itself as the largest veterans organization, with now like a federal structure or a more, I guess I said centralized, that makes more sense. Before it was a little bit more like loosely knit. And in 1922, it renamed itself to the Deutscher Reichskriegerbund Kyffhauser, which is the DRKB Kyffhauser. So going through some pictures here, this is a youth detachment of the Kyffhäuserbund, kind of interesting, not something that you see a lot of. And I have a couple examples here of the pre-World War II stuff that you would encounter for veterans who were members of this organization. This stick pin specifically is kind of interesting. I stole it from Draco Metals because they let me. Individually serialized on the back, which is pretty cool and something that you don't see a lot, especially in the Third Reich era for membership badges.
So when did the monument get erected? When did that go up?
The Kyffhauser Monument was erected between 1890 and 1896. Also, it's important to remember that like this organization was an umbrella. So like there were all these local organizations that existed on their own, and the Kyffhäuserbund was just supposed to basically like link them all. So they would share responsibilities for things like, you know, taking care of monuments or helping to coordinate memorial services. And then here we have another, you know, pre-World War II Kyffhauser stick pin. You'll see this design featured in post-war badges as well, but this specific one doesn't have the same qualities that you will find in post-war badges, and we'll go over that later.
Hey, Josh, quick tidbit. Why the fuck is it dated 1786?
Oh, I was going to say that. You stole my thing.
The 1786 on this badge references the founding year of the Deutsche Kriegerbund, which was a Prussian-based military veterans organization.
Oh, wow.
A lot of history in the vet organizations and a lot of like going back through time and referencing, you know, past organizations and stuff, trying to carry that memory forward.
Well, and it just, I mean, it speaks it speaks to German society of how honorable it was to be a veteran of a war for the country. I mean, you know, that was instilled, you know, they were pretty militaristic society, I would say.
Absolutely. All right, so now we're going to move on to a very interesting veterans group that I don't think we hear much about. The Reichsbund Jüdische Frontsoldaten, or the Reichsleague of Jewish Frontline Soldiers, which was founded with a primary goal being to serve as a defense league for Jewish veterans who were witnessing and experiencing the rise of anti-Semitism in post-World War I Germany. Peak membership for the RJF was around 36,000, and I have a few pictures to show you guys that directly relate to the organization, but it has been the hardest to research out of everybody that we're talking about today.
I wonder if the images were almost burned or deleted.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like,
erased.
purposely, destroyed.
It wouldn't surprise me, but what I've found so far is that there are flags available. There are pictures of events. I have not found any membership badges or anything like that, which kind of sets them apart from the examples that I've been able to find from the other organizations. Whether or not a membership badge exists, I don't know. So if you're a commenter or a listener who might feel inspired to comment right now and you have that information, fucking send me an email. I'd love to see a badge from this organization. Can you guys see this dude?
Oh, yeah.
Sure can. RJF.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
it is pretty
cool.
crazy. It's pretty
Beautiful
cool. And the unfortunate thing is that because it's so hard to actually find these period photos, I can't find super high quality photos either. But this does give you an example of what their insignia looked like, their logo. Obviously, this is dated 1919, so you got your post-World War I, just like we talked about.
It's also interesting to say it's Ortsgruppe.
It is. And as another fun little tidbit, this was from the opening of a vacation home that the RJF was involved with specifically for Jewish veterans.
Good old Leo Gompert speaks.
There's gotta be freaking pins out there with that logo that people don't even know what it is. And they're just floating around in stick pin collections. And
you got to imagine they would be relatively valuable too, because I mean, it's a very,
I would assume so.
It's topical and leading up to the Third Reich. They did have their own publications. There are books that you can find. There are magazines that were published specifically for the RJF. But again, I haven't been able to find any badges. I did find this wonderful pennant. It's almost like I feel bad calling it a pennant because it's so ornate, but beautiful, beautiful pennant.
What's really cool about it is that truss. You see like the V pattern on the truss up top there. I have absolutely seen that truss used on Third Reich tapestries and such.
It wouldn't surprise me if there were, that was just a standard pattern of materials that was available at the time. And you do see it across, multiple
Yeah, they
years,
went to,
they
went to Michael's Fabrics and just picked up that shit. That's like, that's what I need for this pennant. Boom. They did it. Except it wasn't Michael's Fabrics. It was Johann's Fabrics.
Johann's Fabrics would have been a much better pun because of Joanne Fabrics.
Exactly.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious. You can. Oh man, you almost want to redo that. You almost redo that.
I gotta go
joke.
down to Johann's Fabrics. This is the reverse of the same banner. Just a lot of the stuff that you're used to seeing on veterans organizations. If you had just seen this side, you might not have even guessed that it was RJF related. But cool stuff. Stuff that's pretty rare, stuff that I definitely haven't encountered before. I assume based on your reactions that you guys haven't found any RJF stuff.
No, sir. Definitely not. I would love to find some though.
All right. Reach out, listeners. You got RJF stuff hiding in the attic? Send us some pictures. So now we're going to move on to what I would say is probably second to the Kyffhäuserbund, the most notable veterans organization, especially when it comes to Third Reich collectors, and that is the Stahlhelm. The Stahlhelm, or the Steel Helmet League of Frontline Soldiers, was founded in 1918, was a fiercely nationalist organization who raged against the Weimar Republic on the grounds that this entirely new democratic system was a betrayal of what World War I veterans had fought for. Peak membership of the Stahlhelm was about 350,000, and we have some photos to show for reference there as well.
Oh, look at those freaking gorgets, bro.
Look at the gorgets are huge. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I've never. Does anyone have one of those?
I've seen them on WAP. I actually did not know about this until about 2 months ago, and I went to Kyle. I'm like, dude, have you ever seen that gorget before?
Oh,
and he was like, no. And then I saw somebody on WAP had one, and it's just a cool gorget.
Interesting tidbit about the gorgets. We also have this a little bit more of a homey Stahlhelm vibe here. This is definitely more of like here's your local chapter.
Look at the armband.
Oh yeah, look at the armband.
The smaller gorget too. That's
crazy.
Fantastic.
I didn't realize those helmet pins went on their headgear. I thought they were just lapel pins.
Yeah, which they might be interchangeable to a degree, but that is a fantastic photo, dude.
Yeah, wow.
Good job, Josh. Cool. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got these very, very like easily recognizable Stahlhelm membership badges. Specifically, each year is denoted on the badge, and then of course there's like a proficiency or an honor badge here as well. I can't say I've ever actually come across that one. Do you guys have any knowledge on that?
No.
No, but I did have one that was it was just the black enamel with no date and the helmet on it in the
I
middle.
saw that one on your website, and I think that's like it's interesting just how much variance was with these organizations.
Right.
So pick this up from Lakeside Trader just so we can look at some details. You'll often see that again the personalized engraving denoting the member's number on the back of the badge. Very cool. Also dated with the year and the date.
That's a nice quality badge, man.
What is the earliest production year of this badge? Is it 1919 or is 1918 a thing? I don't know. Again, I don't know off the top of my head, but I maybe have seen an 18. I know the membership, and if it wasn't 18, I know the membership was like less than like 50 or something like that, because that badge is insanely desirable and valuable. And obviously, as you went to 19 and 20, that membership numbers grew, so they become more common. But I know and I do know they do fake these engravings and all. But that one looks very nice.
I think you're making great points. I'm just looking this up. Der Stahlhelm founded. I really think it's 1919.
Oh, fuck.
December 25th, 1918.
Ooh, there is a 1918 out there. Ooh, December 25th. So there's 6 days. 6 days of 1918. Yeah.
You had it by 6 days.
If there is a 1918 badge, they were really quick to get that badge into
cranking
production.
it out. Yeah.
Man.
Hey, can you get this to me in 6 days?
So I'll get some more Stahlhelm pictures here. Just some more guys in uniform. And,
there's a big one. He's eating well, huh?
Photos. Yeah, chunky boy, man. Maybe in the spirit of goring, you know what I mean? Well-fed older vets.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the ribbon bar on him, though. That's pretty impressive. Sorry, you don't have to go back.
Oh, there's that weird honor badge you're talking about.
Right, yeah, so I forgot about this. This picture does feature the badge that earlier we were like, what the hell are we talking about? Looks like it's a Wehrsportkreuz. So maybe, the type of thing where we're talking about marching with a full pack. We're talking about shooting sports, things like that. That would be competitions to continue the soldierly spirit of a veteran.
Then you've got the armband. The
what's that other badge? Bundesstern. What's that? It's got eagles on it. Like that thing looks badass. Who's got one of those? That's what I want.
I have never run into that badge before. I got to tell you,
that's got to be rare shit.
It looks like it would be a gorgeous badge.
Oh, did you take this from the actual NSDAP organizational book? Because it looks like it.
Yeah, I believe I took this from Wikipedia.
That's where they got it from, I would imagine. But it is you just see the swastika arm of that Kampfbinde there on the bottom left. That's cool. Very cool, Josh. Very cool.
The final Weimar era organization that we're going to talk about is the Reichsbanner Schwarz-Rot Gold, or the Reichsbanner Black Red Gold, which was a pro-Republican organization. They were loud and outspoken supporters of the new democratic system that the Weimar Republic had ushered in. I'm going to switch back and forth between Weimar and Weimar the entire time.
I've heard you say it both ways. And Bund.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't help myself, dude. So in the eyes of the Reichsbanner, the establishment of the Weimar Republic was the only positive outcome of World War I. It was particularly important to them that more nationalist veterans organizations like the Stahlhelm would not be able to monopolize the memorialization of Germany's fallen soldiers. They were also one of the largest Weimar-era veterans organizations, with 1 million card-carrying members at their peak.
Oh, wow. Let's see the logo on this one. Why do I not know what it is?
They have a super cool flag. Are
we gonna get to see it?
Show you guys. Of course, you get to see it, baby. I take care of you.
What is it? The golden 3-color veteran? What the fuck did you call it?
Reichsbanner Schwarz-Rot Gold.
Oh, that is cool.
They exist as an organization to this day, which is actually kind of cool. So when I was looking into them, I found that they are still selling merch. They are still selling stuff with this logo on it. They're distinctly, their identity is very like aligned with the whole like anti-fascist movement in Germany. Obviously before World War II, and then after World War II, they continued with that same theme. Here is one of the cockades that you would find on their hats.
I've never seen that before.
It's pretty interesting stuff. This is the reverse of that cockade, so it's not even like a pin back. It's more of you put it through the hat and then pin it from the other side.
like
Who's the maker? It's from Ludenshade.
British style.
I don't know
Can't
who the
tell.
maker is.
Can't
I'm
tell. I
sorry.
can't-
I've neglected that in my research. Here's another style of cockade that they
Embroidered.
had, which is embroidered. Yeah, it's very interesting. So the multi-piece construction, almost the same way as the what is that? The RADWJ badges, or no, DAF.
The DAF cap badge.
Yeah, it reminds me of the DAF cap badge. And then here are some membership stick pins also belonging to the organization.
That's cool with the sun rising behind the eagle. That's very cool. That third one from the left is really, really impressive looking.
It really is like a great logo, and it surprises me that there's not more interest in it when we talk about like enamel collectors and stuff.
For sure.
Here's a banner from the organization just to continue to give us, just some more examples of the things that they would have had. And then speaking to how large they were, this is one of the Reichsbanner events that I was able to find photos of. So you can see they were putting asses in seats. They definitely had a lot of appeal for those who were happy with the direction the Weimar Republic was taking Germany in.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. I mean, I can't believe that I haven't seen this. It's a bigger organization than the fucking other one, and I've never seen this shit before.
Where are all
Yeah.
the porta potties?
They're gonna get a fine.
Dude, excellent question. And, that was actually one of the downfalls of the organization. Don't quote this in your history paper, but they were known for shitting in the street.
Are you being serious?
I'm not being serious. No.
Thank God. Thank God. They weren't just dropping trousers, huh?
So here's another photo. Again, you can see what they were rocking for uniforms. It was distinctly, I would say it's kind of the opposite of the traditional German military uniform. It shows a little bit more of that, like we're being more modernized. We're doing something different with the Weimar Republic, and they were obviously aligned with that. But yeah,
For not being a uniform, a lot of those civilian jackets are extremely similar. Interesting.
well, I don't even know if it's that they are not. I guess they aren't in a standardized uniform, are they?
No, they're not.
Is it me, or do they have kind of a British kind of pattern look to them?
It wouldn't
I-
surprise me if they took more inspiration from that than they did from the imperial stylings of Germany before
It
the
has
war.
a different style to it, for sure.
So due to the fact that several different organizations existed during the Weimar Republic, it can be accurately stated that the effectiveness of each organization suffered. Without a unified voice for the demands of veterans, these organizations could do little but fundraise and compete for attention, which is kind of what we were talking about earlier. These four previously mentioned veteran groups did unite for one issue, which was the establishment of a World War I memorial honoring Germany's dead. However, this monument never actually came to fruition during the Weimar Republic, and at the local level, this unified decision was not reflected, and commemorative practices remained divided as each veteran group honored their own dead. And if you were to look it up, or maybe I'll include pictures of it like here or all over the fucking place, there are individual memorials that specifically pertain to those veterans with their name on it. So again, if you're in the Stahlhelm, like the Kyffhäuserbund's not honoring you.
Bill's mug is never ending. Every time I look down, it's a fresh mug that comes up. It's like the bottomless mug.
Just got to refill it, bud. Very simple.
In 1933, the Nazi policy of Gleichschaltung, which I may have pronounced wrong, and you guys can roast me in the comments if so, or synchronization was enacted. And this essentially Nazified the various organizations of Germany, something that listeners may remember from us talking about the Frauenschaft in our Frauenschaft episode. Veterans organizations were no different, with the Kyffhäuserbund becoming the only official representation in Nazi Germany for veterans. From 1934 to 1938, the Kyffhäuserbund was known as the NS-RKB Kyffhauser e.V. It is during this time period that we see the membership badges still featuring the Kyffhauser monument in their design, along with a small centrally located swastika, and we're going to show you pictures of those now. I lifted this picture from Dante's website. As you guys can see, his logo is down in the corner. So this is a 25-year badge that you would see in that time period between 1933 and 1938, still featuring the Kyffhauser monument in the center of the badge with just a little swastika at the bottom to show that they were aligned with the goals of the Nazi Party. Here's the reverse of the same badge. Here's a 50-year, same design, 1933 to 1938. And the reverse of that badge. And then also this interesting 50-year stick pin, which I personally don't run into a lot, but I was impressed to find on Dante's website. I'm not sure if it's still available, but if it is, maybe somebody can go buy it, or you can go buy it for me and send it right to my house.
Yeah, the stick, it's a beefy stick pin. It's the same exact one that's obviously in regular pinback form, just on a stick pin. You don't see them that often.
They're the same
Wow,
size.
yeah.
Same size. So it's heavy. It's
Oh.
like kind of weird. I bet you they're like falling off all the time because they're kind of weird top heavy and they probably just fell right off.
Makes you wonder how many of these were repaired to be standard pinbacks. You know what I mean?
No, Josh, it does make me wonder. Yeah.
I'm often wondering about
exactly what
things.
I was thinking.
Great minds, boys. On March 4th, 1938, the organization was renamed the NS-RKB, NS-RKB, or the National Socialist Reichs Warriors Association. The NS-RKB is the organization that most military collectors will be familiar with, at least when it comes to German militaria from the Third Reich. Their breast and visor eagles are some of the more easily recognizable insignia from the time period. Where much of the insignia of the time did not feature enameling, the NS-RKB visor and breast eagle both feature a black enameled iron cross on the chest of the eagle along with crossed swords. To give you guys an example of this insignia that I'm talking about, I found this awesome cut-off NS-RKB Veterans Association metal breast eagle on Billy's website, and I think it's super cool. You don't see it as like a cut-off item hardly ever.
Yeah, and it did come with provenance too. He was the guy who brought back that awesome Schloss Kleisheim hoard of silverware. And then, yeah, that was the original. That piece of fabric is how it came out of the box. So it's pretty cool stuff, man. From an aesthetic point, you've got the Iron Cross on the eagle motif. I mean, it's really attractive. It really is.
Yeah, it's very striking, especially because it feels like they put a little bit of extra spice on it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the other insignia just doesn't have that same panache.
Right. And I love spicy insignia. So I think that this kind of thing, it fits in any collection because, again, it's iconic. And if somebody goes into your war room and they don't necessarily know like what everything is, they're always going to recognize the eagle and the Iron Cross underneath, is the swastika. So it's pretty much self-explanatory what that is.
The NS-RKB functioned to maintain the military spirit and camaraderie of former soldiers while also ensuring their political indoctrination. Regular meetings were organized along with memorial events and comradeship evenings, all which served to preserve the spirit of the former soldiers. By using the shared experience of World War I veterans to glorify combat, the NS-RKB ideologically prepared society for the expansionist goals of World War II. The most notable event held by the NS-RKB is the Reichskriegertag, or the Reich Warriors' Day. Prior to 1939, the Reichskriegertag was a massive celebration held in the city of Kassel and featured grand parades of veterans in uniforms, ceremonial flag raisings, and speeches by high-ranking Nazi officials. The NS-RKB events were scaled back in 1939 as the focus of the NSDAP shifted to active military service and labor supporting the war effort. The NS-RKB restructured their events to prioritize Wehrsport and paramilitary training, which included events such as shooting competitions, marches with full rucksacks, like we talked about earlier, and even topographical exercises, all of which served to keep Germany's veterans able-bodied and ready for home defense. In addition to their function of keeping veterans prepared for combat, the NS-RKB was responsible for providing funeral honors and Heldengedenken, or hero remembrance ceremonies. This would be the most common local event organized by the NS-RKB during World War II. Members would form an honor guard, presenting their unit flags, and form a ritualistic frontline atmosphere for grieving families, which served to reinforce the idea that death was a sacrifice for the Fuhrer. And like most of the German paramilitary organizations of the time, the NS-RKB organized fundraising drives and collected donations for Winter Hilfswerk drives, which I will show photos of here. Following the German defeat at Stalingrad in 1943, Hitler made the decision to unceremoniously dissolve the NS-RKB. This decision was made in an effort to reorganize and consolidate resources in the mobilization for total war. The assets for the NS-RKB were transferred directly to the NSDAP, and the surviving NS-RKB units were placed under direct control of the NSDAP and would be used to train and serve in the Volkssturm.
I did not know that, dude. He fucking lost Stalingrad and he's like, fuck veterans. Total Krieg, here we come.
He did, and it wasn't just the veterans organizations. It was a lot of organizations that had their assets completely reallocated to the NSDAP just in that consolidation period after, like, oh shit, Stalingrad didn't go so well,
Yeah, no, I did not know that. That's really interesting, man.
So, while the NS-RKB did not award any national medals, their membership badges are frequently encountered by collectors, and those badges are something that we're going to talk about now.
Neat.
So, this is a standard membership stick pin. Once again, I took it off Dante's website. Thank you, Dante.
Oh, you're welcome.
As you can see, we have gotten rid of our Kyffhauser monument. Now you just have the swastika superimposed on the Iron Cross. Obviously, this is still evocative of like it's a veterans organization, right? We still have the Iron Cross prominently featured, but at this point, it's no longer Kyffhauser related. That we've already earned all the goodwill of German society and veterans that we could with the Kyffhauser brand. It's time to move on and make this a full, Nazi party adjacent organization. Here is the reverse of that same badge.
So, Josh, I wanted to ask if we were going to talk about the plain Jane Soldatenbund.
I'm glad that you asked because this is a gap that you're filling in my research because just until, I don't know, a few minutes ago when you first brought it up and then we had to cut that out and now we're doing this part, I was completely ignorant. I had no idea what we were talking about here. So I do have a couple links to show from your website as an example of the Soldatenbund insignia.
So the NS-Soldatenbund was founded in 1936 and was absorbed into the NS-RKB sometime in the first half of 1937, based on the research I did. And the Soldatenbund eagle faces to your left. The Reichskriegerbund eagle faces to the right. The eagle is also stouter in design and has kind of a more aggressive look to it overall. I think it's a nicer looking eagle. And a lot of people pass over it because they think it's a regular NS-RKB eagle at first, but it's not. It's a NS-Soldatenbund, and it's significantly harder to find. And you should try to put it in your collection if you find one.
It really has that like aggressive Art Deco style. You know what I mean?
It's definitely cooler. And when you get used to looking for them, you'll find them. I do have the stick pins available, I'm pretty sure. But the cap badge is a nice find if you do find one. You want to snag it.
And I think, I have a cap badge on a cap here from your website as well.
Yep. So, and this was a nice little surprise too. And believe it or not, this took a while to sell because people just thought it was a regular NS-RKB cap, and they're like, why would somebody want to pay $700 for that? But honestly, this thing was probably worth more than that. But because it's such a little known organization, it took a while to sell. Go ahead, Billy.
Well, I was just going to say, I myself had a cavalry, these were branch specific piping. So your piping there is black. And so that, like you said, somebody just passed it over, not knowing that is actually super rare and super specific. That's a fantastic hat.
Yep. Super cool. Someone got a good deal on that. That's for sure.
I would agree. That's a fantastic price.
Well, thank you very much for filling in the gap there, bud, because again, I didn't even cover Soldatenbund. I was so Kyffhauser blinded. You know what I mean? I was so NS-RKB focused.
They did kind of take over the whole freaking shebang there.
So circling back to our membership badges for long service, also from Dante's website, we have the 40-year NS-RKB membership here, and the reverse of that badge.
It's cool because it kind of steers away from the traditional full wreath design.
Yeah, it does. And only the 40 does that.
Isn't that weird? It's kind of weird.
Talking about that full wreath, like you just mentioned, here's the 25-year badge from Dante's website. Here is the reverse of that badge. Again, just reinforcing that the Kyffhauser monument is no longer a part of this design. This is the NS-RKB design. It is specific to the NS-RKB. We had this debate the other day of when did that change? Obviously clarified that earlier in the episode. But I think that they oftentimes are not thought of as earlier. Your Kyffhauser monument badges are for some reason thought of as the direct equivalent to these NS-RKB badges, and it's just not the case. And then off of my own website, I pulled this 50-year, which is currently available. Beautiful badge, nice gold finish on it. And again, the full wreath and no Kyffhauser monument. And here is the reverse of that badge. One of the interesting points about these badges is you see 25-year, you see 50-year, you see 40-year. It's important to note that prior membership in the Kyffhauserbund or earlier iterations of veteran associations that would fall under the umbrella of the Kyffhauserbund counted towards longevity awards for NS-RKB members. A 50-year member, for instance, would have had to been a member of the pre-Kyffhauser Deutscher Kriegerbund, founded in 1873, and then continued their membership through the many restructurings of these veterans organizations up until the NS-RKB was giving that badge away. With that, I do have some very interesting stuff that Billy shared with me, and we're going to talk about that now.
So this is in my personal collection. This is one of my favorite photos that I own. Geburtstag des Führers. So this is a postcard that they sent, wishing Adolf Hitler happy birthday. I believe this is of Silesian descent, but obviously, if you zoom in on that older gentleman there, who's the tallest in the photo, he's actually has an Iron Cross second class hanging from the button. If you look, so he's
That's
obviously
really weird.
Yeah, but let's talk about this from a sociological standpoint of the Nazi Party. In order to gain the household, you had to get the veterans, right? You had to get the guy who runs the house to bring it into the family. And that's why they tried so hard to get the bridge to gap of the Imperial German, loyal to the Kaiser and bring it to National Socialism. And if you look at this man's family, it clearly did. I mean, it succeeded. So you have a very Germanic family here. And, even the daughter is Sieg Heiling. I love this photo. It just screams what it is. And again, that guy's a World War I vet, and he was brought into it by the Nazi Party. And because of that, it has infested the rest of his family. I mean, in a way.
Look at how devious his one daughter looks, too. I'm just going to throw that out there.
She definitely, she hurts fuzzies.
Dude, she's scheming.
So, yeah, this is the Gorget emblem. It was loose. I don't know why it was loose, and I didn't get the rest of it, but that is how I picked this up. If you look on the right, you got the swastika on the finials. Beautiful. I mean, look how detailed that wreath is. I mean, that thing is next level. And again, it's just such a beautiful design. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, Josh.
Yeah, people don't realize in this design that the cross is designed into the flag there on the right-hand side. It's not just a plain flag. So if you look at it closely, you have the Veterans Cross there too. So it's really nice.
This is really interesting. I hadn't noticed the split, but it makes perfect sense because this was during the time period. Obviously, this is pre NS-RKB. This is when we were still NS-RKB Kyffhauser EV. So you have the more traditional flags on the left-hand side in this photo, and then of course the swastika-laden flags on the right-hand side. It's interesting. It shows the transition.
Yeah, they support both kind of thing.
And then we were just talking about the Soldatenbund, and I was ignorant, not remembering that you sent me this picture, but you actually have a flag from the organization, Bill?
I think I've had 3 total in 25 years.
That's so cool, though. That's a good-looking flag.
It's beautiful. Just a prime example of a beautiful flag. Again, I think the motif, like Dante said when we looked at his cap badge or his breast eagle, rather, was it's a little more robust as far as the eagle goes. He's a little bigger and beefier. So again, just a badass design, dude. If you got that Iron Cross on the chest, and I love it, man. It's a great flag.
Bill, I see you also sent me this picture here of this beautiful NS-RKB banner.
So you have to understand the scale of this flag. So the blue background is when I go to my dad's studio and I get my fat ass up on it's like a 20-foot ladder. This flag was monstrous, and I'm all the way up there with this camera. And I wish I had my pair of shoes in the photo to show you the scale of this thing. But again, the classic motif, just like Dante showed on the Gorget emblem, this is the flag that they're representing on the right. The Iron Cross with the just blatant swastika in the middle. And again, I get people don't love the veterans organizations, but take a step back because it is an important part of the Third Reich because obviously you had a lot of World War I people involved with the Third Reich. But Absolutely. Take a step back and just look at it from an eye-pleasing, the design, the motif. It's sexy. It's the Iron Cross, and it's affordable. I mean, not this flag in particular, but those other Veterans Association flags. I mean, they're like $500, $600, and for something way cooler than a party flag, in my opinion, that's good money spent.
Absolutely, because it's got that imagery that's so evocative of the time period with the Iron Cross.
I just fucking said that. Were you not listening?
No.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying I
get worked up, Josh. I get worked up about better.
I know, you're a passionate guy. That's why we need to have you on the podcast, bud. So now I'd like to address something that I think is an easy mistake and something that I've made this mistake in my life. Maybe you guys have seen this mistake on tables at shows. Maybe you've seen it on dealer websites, and that is the confusing of the NS-RKB and the NS-KOV.
Yes. And I often, as a dyslexic person, I screw that shit up still. I'm constantly going back, going, oh, what is
The
is it-
OKSN?
Which one? Yeah, it's all fucked up. Yeah.
It's a lot of letters, and I mean, that's an error trap in itself.
I mean,
So-
you're talking about German acronyms. It's insane.
We are. So the NS-KOV, or the National Socialist War Victims Care, was a social welfare organization that existed to provide assistance to disabled veterans from World War II, as well as frontline fighters of World War I and their families. It was established through Gleichschaltung, much like the NS-KOV, or sorry, fuck.
Yeah, you
It was I just did it, man. I just did it. It was okay. It was established through Gleichschaltung, which I said earlier wrong, and I'm going to say wrong this time too. Much like the NS-RKB, which saw the forcible merger of Weimar-era social welfare organizations benefiting veterans. The NS-KOV provided pensions, medical care, employment assistance, and affordable housing to disabled German veterans. Unlike traditional social welfare initiatives, this support was treated as a reward for loyalty to the Führer rather than as a right of the citizen. All the benefits extended to veterans by the NS-KOV were conditional. If veterans did not maintain political loyalty or showed signs of defeatism, they would lose their benefits and be evicted from their homes. The NS-KOV was also subject to the strict racial hygiene policies of Nazi Germany. Jewish veterans who may have enjoyed social welfare benefits from the Weimar-era organizations were denied those benefits and expelled from the NS-KOV. Other examples of veterans who were denied benefits would be those with mental or neurological conditions, even if those conditions were war-related, because they were thought of as hereditary.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
So what you're saying is that to receive benefits from the NS-KOV, you had to be a party member. Had to be. Sounds like it.
Yeah. You had to be completely aligned with the goals of the party.
Yeah, you couldn't just been a veteran. You have to sign up, have your membership number, blah blah blah.
Well, not even just that, but think about how important it was to have the veterans as a propaganda tool. You couldn't have veterans benefiting from the Nazi social welfare program who are also like outspoken critics of the regime,
Sure,
right?
Right.
So the NS-KOV worked with the DAF to build small, standardized houses with gardens for veterans. Typically, these houses were not free, but were affordable through low-interest state loans and rent-to-own arrangements.
The Nazis had rent to own? I didn't
The
know that.
Nazis had rent-to-own.
That's
Yeah, let's
crazy.
talk
I
about
did
that
not
for a
know
second.
that, dude.
Yeah, you went
That's
down
cool.
your local rack, the Nazi
Yeah.
Nazi rack.
The rent-a-center?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had one. Deutsche Rente-Center.
Oh my god, dude!
Deutsche
Fritz needs a big screen
Instead of the
TV.
yellow letters
It was
with the yellow swastika.
It was the DARC, the Deutsche
Yeah.
Rente-Center.
Oh my god, dude! Fritz
That's
needs
funny.
a leather couch tomorrow,
Or
but he
maybe it
doesn't
was
get
the
paid until next month.
NSDARC. Yeah, see, I can play this.
NSDARC.
I
That's
can
funny.
play this freaking Nazi fucking acronym game all day long.
That's funny.
Oh my god. In any new state-funded housing projects, old fighters of the NSDAP and disabled veterans were given priority, and properties seized from Jewish families or quote-unquote enemies of the state were also sometimes turned over to the NS-KOV to be used as convalescent homes or partitioned into apartments for veteran housing. And interestingly enough, if Germany had been successful in conquering the rest of Europe, the NS-KOV was planning to grant large Eastern European estates to German veterans who the terminology for it was crazy. They called them warrior peasants. These plans were understandably not realized due to the tide of the war. So now we're going to give a couple examples of some NS-KOV stuff because Billy provided me with that as well.
Okay, so this is the NS-KOV Gorget. Again, the Iron Cross motif over the sword surrounded by the wreath. Again, that silvery, powdery white finish, my favorite finish of anything in the hobby. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous Gorget. Also utilizes a similar chain to the SS first pattern Gorget. Again, just a really attractive design. All of this veteran stuff is really underappreciated. People don't find it as sexy. but that's because they're thinking about like the veterans and the old men, because people think about old men and veterans
Right.
apparently, instead of actually looking how attractive that thing actually is. And it's phenomenal. It's just really, I mean, the starburst behind it. I love that thing, man.
Now, how would you grade that? Like, would you say this is a very rare item? I don't think I've ever actually come across one.
I've had
No, I
three of
wouldn't. I
them.
wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily ultra rare, but I would agree with Dante. It's not a common Gorget to
So
find.
with this particular Gorget, the problem with this one is the chrome finish is really hard to find in mint condition. This one is very nice. I had one that was even better than this, like almost out of the box, brand new, and I sold that for boatloads of money because you can't find them with a good finish like this.
Yeah.
Does it peel?
It's a shitty plated. It's because I think it's steel, and then it's plated chrome or something, and it just wears poorly. It flakes off and looks weird.
And not only that, but obviously you can tell, like, this is not like a mirror, like Dante said. However, I can see me there at the bottom. I was clearly wearing a blue shirt that day, and you can see my photo there.
Yeah, it's a little fuzzy, which is still
Right.
better than most in terms of condition. So this is still, I would still grade this as a very high condition one.
Yeah, I think this is probably $1,300, something like that.
Yeah.
It's a nice Gorget.
Damn, that's a beautiful piece. Now that we've talked about our Weimar era organizations, a big four, and then we've talked about the Gleichschaltung, or however the fuck I'm supposed to say that word, and how it all became the NS-RKB, right? We talked about what makes it different from the NS-KOV, so you don't get them confused anymore. And I bet you're wondering to yourself, what the fuck happened to the Kyffhäuserbund, right? I mean, it existed, but like honestly, pre-World War I, and then it gets like dissolved in 1943, but it had existed so much longer, like then the Third Reich even existed. It has to have some staying power, and I have great news for you. It does. The Kyffhäuserbund was dissolved in 1943, like I just said. It was formally outlawed by the Allies in 1945, but it lives on to this day. The current iteration of the Kyffhäuserbund was founded in West Germany in 1952 with a reformed constitution that distanced itself from political extremism and focused on democratic values. Interestingly, though, it was still headed by Wilhelm Reinhard, who was the same man that ran the organization during the Third Reich. Reinhard led the Kyffhäuserbund in West Germany until 1955 when he fucking died.
Wow, that's
Gone
crazy.
too soon.
Actually,
Isn't it? Because you know he was a member of the SS. He definitely held a lot of positions that would have raised eyebrows with the Allies. But they were like, "You want to found the Kyffhäuserbund again? Yeah, we'll give you a pass. No worries."
it's interesting. Yeah, like you think like who was greasing the wheels for some of these organizations to make it through, and some of them didn't.
The interesting thing as well to consider is that like veterans served an important propaganda purpose in the Third Reich to get the public on board with their goals. And when the Kyffhäuserbund is reformed in 1952, veterans once again have an important propaganda purpose for West Germany, promoting democratic values now and getting the public used to more democratic values for these people that they held in such high esteem. So in that sense, it's actually not that different from how the veterans were used by the Nazis. They're an important tool to get society behind what your goals and aims are. The modern Kyffhäuserbund is officially recognized as a shooting sports organization. It maintains its original purpose as a veterans organization in a purely commemorative capacity. Kyffhäuserbund members today participate in Germany's National Day of Mourning. They help maintain local war memorials. They participate in local festivals, and they engage in local fundraising and social support for their elderly members. So they do still serve some of the same purpose that they did originally, but it's definitely focused more on heritage at this point and not so much, stirring up nationalist beliefs.
Aryan flair.
Yeah, Aryan. There were some years where they were definitely partial to the Aryans. I got a couple pictures to show you just of some modern Kyffhäuserbund stuff. Right, yeah, this is your post-war Kyffhäuserbund badge. It's very obviously post-war. It still has that familiar twist and stick pin, but you can see in the enamel quality, you can see it has that cold enamel, like it looks like a commemorative, maybe a spoon that your grandmother would buy when she goes on vacation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hangs it on the
it's
spoon
super
rack.
cheesy looking.
Come in, look at my spoon. Okay, grandma.
Interestingly enough, that's what my grandmother sounds like. You'll meet her at the wedding. She has a great collection of spoons. Interestingly enough, It does still say Gesh on the back. And so it's easy enough that you could like get fooled and be like, oh yeah, I guess it's a cheap badge from the war. But in reality, it's a post-war badge.
And it's also not technically a reproduction. It's something that they still issue, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
Exactly. Because they do still exist, like we said.
So does Tino.
And-
I don't know. Did you know that? Tino's still an organization.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that. And just as an added treat, I do have one nice little event photo from 1963 that shows that same logo right at the top there with the 1786 date and the Kyffhauser monument. And you know, we were talking a little bit about how important it was to have that heraldry to get, you know, there that Kyffhauser monument is it transcends the Nazi era use of it. So going back to the Kyffhauser monument makes sense for the post-war organization because, like we said, like you know they predated the Third Reich. They can use their monument on the badge.
Really like the glockenspiel in that photo. That's pretty impressive.
It's a beautiful photo, and it's something that you don't think a lot about what these organizations might still be doing in the modern day. So there you go, 1963. I mean, it's somewhat modern. It's more modern than 1945.
That's true. That's true. And when you say, you don't normally think about like what these organizations are doing, Josh, I don't count sheep. I just think about what the Kyffhäuserbund was doing in 1963. And I fall right to fucking sleep, dude. I get real fucking tired real quick.
I wake up having like fucking epiphanies about the connections of the veterans organizations. No, the NS-Soldatenbund existed before the NS-KOV.
NS-KOV!
Dude, you joke, but I'll tell you what, all of my coworkers, because I did all the research for this while I was at work and I was on break, have heard nothing but this super dry talk about, well, here's the thing, they changed it in this year to have this different design on the badge, and you might not know, but they actually had a different organization for this. And like, I swear to God, I just must be the most intolerable person to work with. But
they go home and tell their wife, honey,
he won't shut up.
This is like he likes Nazi stuff. He doesn't stop talking about it. He's such a weirdo.
It's so funny because like we'll just be having a totally normal conversation. There'll be a break and I'll go, huh, did you know? And then I'll just go on this fucking rant. And the guy next to me's eyes are like glazing over and he's falling asleep. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, let's talk about the intricacies.
Have you heard about this? Oh, that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Well, guys, this was our show about the veterans organization in Nazi Germany, the NS-RKB, and its predecessors, and its post-war iteration in the Kyffhäuserbund. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a lot of information, but I think, it's one of those road less traveled by type topics that probably needs a little light shown on it. So, and especially if you're collecting on a budget, which you guys know I love to do, the veterans organization stuff is so good because it's not fetching that high price tag, but it's still like great stuff and very, like we've said many times, evocative of the times when it was created.
Good quality stuff. Yeah, for sure.
To close us out today, I want to go back to something that we used to do. I'm going to put Dante on the spot and say, can you give us some parting wisdom before we do the outro?
Parting wisdom. Okay, I'm going to give you real life wisdom here because it just happened to me. When you're shipping porcelain, do the box within a box method. Put the porcelain thing in a box, pad that, and then put that box in a bigger box and pad that. Because I just got in it would have been a beautiful pitcher and a beautiful big bowl smashed to smithereens because the guy didn't listen to me on how to package it. And that's what you got to do. Box within a box, baby.
Box within a box. All right, box within a box. Remember that when you're trying to ship your porcelain busts across the country. My name is Joshua Doda. I run Queen City Militaria, and I'm joined today by, once again, these highly esteemed professionals in the industry of militaria, Dante Gambino of SMG War Relics.
Thank you, everybody.
And William the Bill Kramer of WehrmachtMilitaria.com.
Josh, I can't help but notice you didn't ask me for any wisdom. And I'm going to tell you a story. One time I was taking a leak and it was really windy out and it just got everywhere. And don't pee in the wind. That's my advice for all the podcast listeners.
But can you pee with the wind to gain extra velocity? Perhaps if there's a contest, a pissing contest?
If there's a chick looking around the corner and you want to like really impress her, like just rip it,
Chicks do love a powerful stream. And on that note, we will see you guys next month. Oh, and also, if you're still around, I have not shipped out your free stickers yet, but I'll get to it this week. Don't. It's free. You can't complain about it. The 3 or 4 people that emailed me. And on that note, see you guys later.
Good night, everybody.